Quick question, what are the industries you think Samsung is into? You must be thinking of smartphones, or maybe electronics, right? 95% of us know only this much about Samsung. But the most fascinating thing about this brand is all the industries they've expanded into. There's a Samsung division called Samsung Heavy Industries that makes massive ships, including some of the largest megaships in the world. Samsung also has a separate division that constructs infrastructure projects such as roads, tunnels, bridges and buildings. Interestingly, Samsung has played a significant role in the construction of several famous buildings like the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. And before that, some famous buildings in the world like Petronas Towers. They even owned South Korea's largest theme park called Everland, have their own hotels, and even they own a whole place in Korea called Samsung Town, which is a symbol of Samsung's dominance in South Korea. As many of us probably know, the Samsung brand from its success in mobile phones and electronic appliances and gadgets that are just the tip of the iceberg. You must be thinking, that's it. But no. There are some of Samsung's non-profit foundation includes a university and even a medical hospital. Samsung's diversification into multiple industries may seem like a typical rags to riches story, with a young entrepreneur starting small and gradually building an empire. But the truth behind Samsung's success is far more intriguing and controversial. When Samsung first thought of expanding, the company faced numerous challenges and controversies, including lawsuits from competitors and even an exploding smartphone scandal. Lee Young-chul founded Samsung when he was only 28 years old. He recounts that he had a sudden realization one night that he was not doing anything special and big in his life and decided to set a clear goal for himself. From that moment, he made a firm commitment to creating a business. In the beginning, Samsung used to sell groceries, but Lee always had a much bigger vision. Even the Samsung name, which was selected by him, means 3 stars in Korean. Although to some, 3 stars might seem like an average product rating, in Korea, the number 3 carries significant meaning, symbolizing something immense and potent. Additionally, the use of a star in the name indicates that something is big, powerful, and everlasting. Big, powerful, and everlasting are certainly perfect words to describe what Samsung has now become. But at first, it didn't look like Samsung was even going to survive, as the Korean War had a devastating impact on Lee's business and the entire country. In fact, after the war there was a shortage of commodities and Korea was heavily relying on imports. So Lee had decided to diversify his business and create affordable goods for the public. He started by creating a sugar refinery, and then, using the profits from that, he opened the largest woolen mill in the country. This allowed Samsung to expand into textiles, and they began creating finished products like clothing. Since it was diversification that allowed Samsung to survive, Lee decided to keep pursuing this strategy more aggressively and reinvested the money he made into new areas like opening a department store and getting into the insurance business. In fact, to this day, Samsung is the largest insurance provider in South Korea. With all this rapid expansion of his business, it wasn't long before Lee was the richest man in the country. Then, in a meeting, they decided the next market to enter would be electronics. A year later, Samsung Electronics was fully set up, and they created a 12-inch black and white TV. Within a decade, they'd become the world's #1 black and white TV manufacturer thanks to their efficient assembly line production. And this success led them to start producing all kinds of home appliances like microwaves, air conditioners, and color TVs. And in 1988, they launched their first mobile phone and entered this market. Samsung is one of the most prominent mobile phone manufacturers globally. Their smartphones are known for their advanced features. cutting-edge technology and sleek designs. With a wide range of products available at different price points, Samsung makes it a top choice for people worldwide. Started as a grocery and then showed its dominance in multiple industries in the global market. You can't even think how much dominance Samsung have in their own country, South Korea. Control over their education, youth, finances, and much more. By the way, my future millionaires, please give me a few seconds. This is our second video on the Sybarite. We'll be throwing such amazing business brands and case studies that are not done by anyone so far. So subscribe for the exclusivity. Let's understand that the Chaebols, they are family-run business conglomerates that dominate South Korean industry. Samsung is one of the most well-known Chaebols in Korea. In the 70s and 80s, Chaebols dominated, pulling the South Korean economy up as they pushed their products out to the world. Samsung launched TV, semiconductors, then mobile phones for exports. South Korean citizens came to argue over the role of Chaebols in politics and in society, but it was actually helping the Koreans on everyday standards of life. Life expectancy doubled from 1950 to 1990, while infant mortality cratered to less than a tenth of what it was at the war's end. And Chaebols showed no sign of slowing. Through the turn of the century, South Korea's GDP continued to grow, and even with the death of Lee Byung-chul in 1987, Samsung continued to expand globally and dominate domestically under the guidance of his son, Lee Kun-hee. Today, after continuous growth, South Korea is Samsung and Samsung is South Korea. For the normal people there, it's a relationship with the corporation as deep as that with the government itself. If we explain it simply, year after year, just about 20% of the entire nation's GDP is made up of Samsung Group revenue. The only single entity that can rival that is the South Korean government itself, who's spending 20 to 25% of GDP. In a significant advanced, diversified economy, a single corporation, particularly one controlled by a single family, accounting for a whole fifth of the economy is utterly unparalleled, even on a global scale. Undoubtedly, this exceptional dominance affects everyday life. Young people, and especially their parents, tend to fixate on the singular path towards becoming the so-called Samsung man. It's considered the real success to have passed all the academic and be worthy to work at the country's largest company. Korean kids prepare their entire childhood to apply for the opportunity to Paka testing centers along with 100,000 others to take the biannual Samsung aptitude test, hoping to score high enough to get the recruiter's attention. Hundreds of thousands won't even be allowed to take the test because of the criteria. For those that don't succeed, they move on to the country's small and medium-sized employers. In fact, they will try and hide from family and friends due to its characterization as failure. This dark dominance Samsung has created in South Koreans' life is crazy. When you buy a smartphone in South Korea, you buy it from Samsung. When you need life insurance in South Korea, you purchase a policy with Samsung. When you take the ferry in South Korea, you step onto a ship built by Samsung. When you go to a theme park in South Korea, you once again pay your money to Samsung. When you need to cool off during a hot summer's day in South Korea, you might turn to air conditioner made by Samsung. If you need a new television or other home electronics, Samsung is a popular choice. And if you're looking to furnish your home or office, you can find furniture and appliances made by Samsung.